Hello and welcome to Brodual. Today we're back with a highly anticipated mod, the combat gameplay overhaul. This comes from the creator that also made the archery gameplay overhaul, and just like that mod, it takes a unique approach to tackling a part of Skyrim's combat. Normally in a combat overhaul, you'd expect changes to NPC AI or the amount of damage your attacks deal. It might add something like injuries or locational damage. The combat gameplay overhaul, however, does none of that. Instead, it focuses almost entirely on movement and the overall fluidity of combat. Its aim is to open up how you move your character and manipulate your weapons, removing some of the limitations from the base game's animation system. It's no secret that Skyrim comes with fairly wooden animations, especially when it comes to combat. Even when you add the ability to perform something like a sidestep or a dodge roll, the animation is still fairly janky. This seems like an almost unfixable problem, or at least it did until the overhaul introduced something we haven't seen before: procedural leaning. This makes it so your character and NPCs lean based on their acceleration and turn speed. This adds a level of momentum to your character's movement, which, although subtle, plays a core role in the rest of the mod's features. This includes one of the smoothest dodging animations we've ever seen. Thanks to the leaning effect, instead of jolting straight into a dodge roll, you'll now lean into it. This creates a natural range of motion in the animation, which is especially noticeable in third person, but you can also feel it in first person too. To dodge, you just need to press the sneak key while moving in one of 8 different directions. And since the input is instant and the animation is so smooth, it works incredibly well both in and out of combat. You'll also occasionally see NPCs use it to dodge attacks or as a last-ditch effort to flee combat when they're low on health. As part of the mod's effort to improve the fluidity of combat, it wanted to remove all of the restrictions on movement when you're performing certain actions. It achieves this thanks to a clever new method of handling attack animations. The mod basically separates your legs from your upper body, letting the attack animation to play out on your top half while allowing your legs to continue moving. Your whole body will then lean and rotate depending on the level of motion. In-game, this means your movement will never be restricted when you're performing certain actions, including power attacks, sneak attacks, attacks while casting spells, and block bashes. The mod even opens up mid-air attacks. This lets you perform jump shots with your bow, letting you strategically use your cover while you jump to snipe enemies. Or when combined with the slow-mo, you can create some fun skill shots. For melee combat, on top of just feeling less restricted when jumping, you can also use it for surprise attacks. Jump from the high ground and smash down your warhammer, all in one continuous movement, dealing huge amounts of damage. And again, just like the rest of the mod, this all works in both first and third person. Another big feature of the mod is the introduction of grip changing. If you're familiar with the author's other mod, Unlock Grip, you probably know what this does. It lets you manipulate your melee weapon by adjusting your grip, changing how they behave, the type of attacks available, and the amount of damage they deal. You can wield melee weapons with 1 or 2 hands, regardless of the type of weapon. With the press of a hotkey, you can grip a one-handed weapon with 2 hands, letting you deal more powerful and deadly swings that also hit a wider area in front of you. The opposite is also true for 2-handed weapons. By switching your grip, you can now wield them using 1 hand. So if you're playing a Giant of a Nord, inspired by the Mountain, you can now dual wield 2 huge greatswords. But it's not just about aesthetics, it's also about making combat more fluid. Changing grip is quick and easy, letting you switch the kind of attacks available to you almost instantly. Normally, if you wanted to use magic while using a 2-handed weapon, you'd have to unequip it entirely. But now you can just shift it over to your left hand and wield magic in your right. Or instead you can switch to using a shield or a small sword in one hand and a greatsword in the other, opening up new dual wielding attacks. You can even switch your grip with the staff, letting you use both hands to strike enemies that get too close, rather than relying on the staff's magic. To make all of this work, the mod introduces a few new animations for left-handed swinging and dual wielding. It also offers new animations for the first-person view, making it all incredibly seamless, like it was part of the original game. Switching grip even takes your skills into account, so a 2-handed grip will use your 2-handed skill level and perks, even if you're using a weapon that's normally one-handed. Many parts of the mod are fully customizable in its mod menu. You can adjust how much of an impact the procedural leaning has on your character, as well as how much damage is gained or lost when switching grips. So be sure to tweak things so they're right for you. Overall, the combat gameplay overhaul takes an interesting approach to tackling Skyrim's combat. Combat in particular has become a major focus of modders in the past couple of years, with people looking for more dramatic approaches to making combat more deadly or exciting. This mod does a great job in loosening things up, making combat feel less rigid. In terms of compatibility, it should run fine alongside most combat overhauls that don't offer new animated attacks. So mods like Wildcat should be fine. Unfortunately, it isn't compatible with FNIS, and to get it to work alongside mods that alter the character animations, you need to run a patch. If you're looking for a fresh take on Skyrim's combat, you can find everything you need down below. As always, be sure to leave endorsements on any mod you enjoy, wash your hands, and thanks for watching.